My wife and I went to Fort Scott, Kansas, took the C8 Corvette. This is a really neat old town with the fort, and so let's do a quick walk around to this place. Welcome to Road Odyssey. Thank you very much for joining me. If you like the videos that I provide, please subscribe, and if you're in Rumble, please follow. Getting into Fort Scott is as simple as getting into any other nice old city. So just pay attention to the road signs and you will be led very quickly to the fort itself. Here's a quick scan from the parking lot as we had just arrived. Very scenic, very quiet and easygoing place to look around. So I do scan around. There's my Corvette and a portion of the downtown. Fort Scott was named after General Winfield Scott, who became famous after the Mexican-American War. It was a supply base and provided security in the area while the West was being settled. As this sign says, Fort Scott was instrumental in the growth of America from 1842 to 1873. 20 structures remain and have been restored for us to be able to enjoy and relate back to and learn from history. The first structure we're going to look at is the Visitor Center, which was originally the Post Hospital. The hospital is a great example of how these buildings have had to go through their aches and pains and finally to restoration. Next to the hospital were the gardens, of which there's a little bit still there, but we're going to move on inside of the hospital. Dispatchments performed their duties along both the Santa Fe Trail and the Oregon Trail. This was a huge, huge swath of land that these folks protected and just really helped supply lines and all that to so many people along thousands of miles of trails. Along one of the walls, you will have a timeline of the development, decline, and, well, just all the events that had occurred up until today of the fort. And this is just really very interesting history as to how a lot of these historic sites have kind of come and gone and been refreshed for our, like I said, enjoyment and learning from the past. Be aware, inside the hospital, there is a second floor. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies with tons of very relevant history. From the second floor of the hospital, I scanned the courtyard, all of these really neat old historic buildings, and it just gives you a feel from the past and how things might have been. One thing about how things might have been is the same as today. Yep, there's jails. With this being the guardhouse, it served as the jail. Yep, pretty scary stuff. But really and truly, walking around this thing, it was significant. I would not want to visit this sort of place. The walls were thick, the windows were small, and I'm sure in the wintertime this place froze. So no, not a very friendly place to visit, although it really does give you a great idea of the harshness of the past as well as today. Things really haven't changed that much. They really treated people poorly if they did something bad. So there was an immediate repercussions, I guess you would say, and punishments for people that did something wrong. As I scanned further, our next stop was the Infantry Barracks. So just one of these buildings still exists, And it was nice to kind of walk around and look at. We couldn't go inside. But yeah, another sign out front. There's signs everywhere, but this one indicating a little bit more about what it was like being part of the infantry there. This next building is the Quartermaster's storehouse, meaning all your supplies. So this is like the general store of the fort. And it was really, really cool to kind of walk around and get an idea of, just exactly how this place was built, designed, organized, and filled up with all kinds of good supplies. So from top to bottom, this place probably would have been packed in a very busy hub. Getting back upstairs to the main floor, you'll see how these buildings were pieced together. So a lot of really heavy beam work, just tremendous. Then on the outside walls, you have cobbled scrap brick. Then on the inside, you're going to have hand split lathing. Those are all the boards that are going up horizontally. And then on top of that, you have horsehair plaster. Now we're moving around to Officers Row. And this structure is the Officers' Quarters number 4. Now, we were not able to go through that at the time. And so just thought I would scan around and look at the other officers' quarters along this row. And as well in the background, you'll see there are other auxiliary structures as well. I'm going to call this the ceremonial cannon of the fort for right now. It was pretty neat to look at. I skip over the post headquarters and go over to what they call the Dragoon Barracks and the Dragoon Stables. I didn't read the sign, but having grown up with antique dealers, this just looks like a nicely staged personal room to some degree. The larger room next door was the mess hall and kitchen. Obviously, a very good-sized room. Looks like it could house a good 30, 40, 50 people at least. So that would be a lot. Rib sticking food. Yep, I bet that was pretty interesting grub for these guys. And vinegar and wild onions. Oh my God. Well, they would be fairly healthy, I guess. So there's the kitchen. Pretty big, actually, but I bet that place was crazy busy. And here next door is they said a company office. All right, then we traipsed on over to these stables, a very significant building, just a very fine structure. Looks like a lot of the wood in there could have been cedar. Plenty of nooks and crannies for storage. A tannery, saddle shop, making reins and harnesses and all that relative to riding and dealing with the horses. This wagon's going to be interesting. I'll show you that in a second. Just a cutout showing a guy, horseshoeing. So let's take a quick look at this thing. It's actually used for forging. I'll show you more in a second. So looking at another wagon, and this is only a small portion of this place. Adaptive use. Anyway, Forge A. So what this is, it's where they could go out on, the roads and be able to make and repair horseshoes and other metal objects that they need to maintain use of the horses and all that good jazz. So pretty cool wagon there. Didn't even think about it. But still looking at the structure, there is all kinds of things going on here. That looks like where they could drop hay from up above. But a really neat structure. All right, time to skedaddle from the fort. And let me tell you, we are going to escape and get back into the Corvette and just go further down the road. I've got more things to show you in the near future. So with that, please relax. Take it easy. I will see you later. I really do appreciate you watching this video as we leave Fort Scott. And I would like to remind you that I do have the Road Odyssey Facebook page. So join me out there where I give you more information about events and shop tours and videos that I'm making like this one, and just other sundry things. So thank you very much. Please like and subscribe or follow, and I will see you later. Bye.